Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Kenobi Facebook Live every Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. It's great to be with each and every one of you tonight, Monday, July 13th. Wow, the weeks just fly by, don't they? And that's great because Mondays, you start out your week, and for some people, Monday isn't their favorite thing. But now, because of the great community we have here at Coffee with Kenobi, Monday starts off in a very different way, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Again, it's good to be here with you. I am your host, Dan Z, drinking my One Nation coffee. Actually, drinking coffee this time. Usually I drink water, but my wife said, you know what? Why don't you drink coffee? It can be decaf. Actually, this isn't decaf, though. This is the real stuff because we had a late night last night watching The Empire Strikes Back at the drive-in movie theater, which of course we're going to talk about. All right, look at this. Everybody is here. It's great to see everybody. I've got former students. We've got our loyal Coffee with Kenobi family here. Hey, Aaron, good to see you, man. Dave, thank you so much, but I knew you'd appreciate that since you're such a massive collector. Tyler, got to memorize my list. Ooh, very good. That's promising. Hello, Tim. Mean to thank you and good to see you. Awesome. It's good to see everybody here on Coffee with Kenobi. Let's do this. So we've got a lot of news to talk about on Coffee with Kenobi this week. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into the news segment. We're going to see what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. I need a healthy sleep cycle, but it's summer, right? Dan's going to have to do some laps around the yard after the show. That's right. No, we'll be okay. Took a nap. I am ready to roll. And look who else is here. Ross is here. John Carter, what is up, my friend? John, longtime friend of mine. Gosh. Oh, my goodness. I'm not a math teacher, but it's been a long time. It's the majority of our lives. So it's good to see you, my friend. Very, very good. All right, so in the world of Star Wars today, the big news we got, of course, is the Bad Batch. So we've been waiting to see what is going to be the next big announcement from Lucasfilm. It's been really quiet. Honestly, recently to me, it's felt sort of like it did before Disney purchased Lucasfilm, and there wasn't a lot going on. No certain movies to look forward to as far as we knew there was one coming out in a couple of years. We didn't know a name, a title, a director, anything. We don't know anything that's going on. And, of course, Clone Wars was over. Resistance isn't on anymore, so we didn't have anything. So, we've got some great books coming, but seeing something on the silver screen is very different. So now we find out we get the Bad Batch. It broke Twitter today. We got a press release from Lucasfilm about it. And basically what it is coming out next year, 2021, on Disney+. Everybody is very excited about it. Yeah, see, Mary's excited. Woohoo! Yeah, I know. I am really pumped about it. It's going to be great. But it's going to come out next year. It takes place after the Clone Wars series. And what it does is it's going to go through our favorites from the Bad Batch, right? Those 4 new clones that we met that we really liked from this new season of Star Wars, The Clone Wars. We wanted more of them. I wondered what happened with them when it came to Order 66 and all that. So this is going to be great. It's going to be great to see what happens. We've got a lot about Dave, of course. Filoni is working on it. There are other great folks working on it as well. We don't have a voice cast or anything, but D. Bradley Baker did tweet that he was very excited, and it's hard to imagine the Bad Batch without D. Bradley Baker since he's the voice of all the clones. He's such a master of voiceover work. So there's a lot of good things to look forward to with this. And Tyler points out right away, Bad Batch Black Series figures have to happen now. I would think the same thing. I know a lot of people feel the same way. So we'll see, but that certainly does bode a lot more promising, I would say. Hey, Blake, good to see you, man. I will, let me see your late slip. I'll let you have a seat. We're going to let it go this time. Very good. Jim says, the Bad Batch was one of my favorite arcs, but I'm super curious about the state of the galaxy during the aftermath of the Clone War. Exactly. And we also know that there's a lot of stuff that can be in play, right? Jedi are on the run. Darth Vader, of course, is very present. The Empire is just starting. And that's my favorite era of Star Wars anyways, when the Empire is kind of in their heyday, and as the Rebels start to build. And who knows how much they'll have an impact on the future of the Rebellion. It's going to be cool. Is there not going to be a Season 3 of Resistance? No, there is not, Aaron. They had actually said that that it was going to be 2 seasons and then done. And when you think about how it ends, they really don't know where else they could go with it. So yeah, that's just going to be 2 seasons of Resistance. Dave says, I'm 40-something and I love animated Star Wars shows. Hey, man, I am right with you. I love them too. I think they're great. I think they're very, very fun. And it's also fun for me, as it's always been, is to share it with my family and watch it with them. I get Mason's perspective, and then I get to talk about it on the show with Tom and each and every one of you. So that's really, really good. John, you do. Have you not seen The Mandalorian? Well, you know what? I can text you sort of a list of things. And your kids maybe get into a certain age where they're interested in this, or maybe not. But I will say for you, dude, you got to watch The Mandalorian. It's on Disney Plus, of course. You'll love it. It takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So that explains sort of how the galaxy is. And as empires fall, some have a hard time letting go of power. So there are a few Imperials out here and there. But it's really, really great. I think you will love it. I think you will love it. Aaron, it is a shame. Seasons 1 and 2 are great. I thought both seasons ended really, really strongly. But it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be cool. Any word if Echo will be a part of the show? You know what? I don't know. There's no word of anything right now, Colby. That's a great question. But I mean, it's the Bad Batch, and they're gonna have to kind of find their place in the galaxy. In fact, I can pull up the press release and I can read it to all of you. As I said, it was sent to me earlier today by the good folks at Lucasfilm, and it's of course all over the place too. But here's what we do know about what it's going to be about. Okay, here we go. Give a second for this to load. All right. The series follows the elite and experimental clones of the Bad Batch, first introduced in the Clone Wars, as they find their way in a rapidly changing galaxy in the immediate aftermath of the Clone War. Members of Bad Batch, a unique squad of clones who vary genetically from their brothers in the Clone Army, each possess a singular exceptional skill which makes them extraordinarily effective soldiers and a formidable crew. In the post-Clone Wars era, they will take on daring mercenary missions as they struggle to stay afloat and find new purpose. And we have a quote here from Agnes Chu, Senior Vice President of Content at Disney+. Giving new and existing fans the final chapter of Star Wars The Clone Wars has been our honor at Disney+, and we are overjoyed by the global response to this landmark series. While The Clone Wars may have come to its conclusion, our partnership with the groundbreaking storytellers and artists at Lucasfilm Animation is only beginning. That's promising. We are thrilled to bring Dave Filoni's vision to life through the next adventures of the Bad Batch. So that's great news. It's executive produced by Dave Filoni, Athena Portillo, Brad Rao, and Jennifer Corbett, with Carrie Beck as co-executive producer and Josh Rhimes as producer. Rao is also serving as supervising director, with Corbett as head writer. So that's very, very interesting. A lot of promise here. It's going to be tremendous is what it's going to be. So I'm excited about it. I know you are too. We're just going to have to kind of wait and see where things go. But, and I'm sure stuff will start eking out as time goes on. But it's very promising. I mean, that they're going to do a good job. It's going to be very powerful. And that there's going to be a lot of excitement for us because we love these characters so very much. All right, got a lot of comments here while I was reading that, so very, very good. Let's see. Here we go. Bad Batch sounds promising. I agree. Meantime, I'm very excited about it. Lots of great content. Enjoy. Oh, yeah. And I think John, I'm assuming Ross is giving you that suggestion, so it's going to be fun. He did join the Bad Batch, so that's probably why. I'm sure that's why Colby said that. So that makes sense to me. I like it. Connecting the dots is what we do here at Coffee with Kenobi. Tyler says, I'm sure we'll get some more awesome action scenes with those characters. Crosshair taken out of those hallway droids still blows my mind. We still talk about that at our household. It was a really great moment, for sure. Aaron says, I met someone who had never seen a single movie except for the Family Guy spoofs. We've been watching them for the last couple of months in the Machete order. Just watched Revenge of the Sith last night. My friend is crying over Anakin. Oh, wow, that's cool. Good for you, Aaron. The Machete order is definitely the way to go. The Machete order, for those of you who don't know, is 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6. That's the order of how to watch it. It has a very different way to reveal Luke and Leia and their legacy and their relationship as brother and sister. And I think it means more with Anakin's fall and redemption as well. Dave just watched The Mandalorian, an incredible season, the final episode of Star Wars at its finest. It really is great. John, I'm very excited about this. I had the same experience with my wife. I made her watch them in order. Nice. Very good. I like this. I like this very much. Aaron says favorite order is the machete order. I love that quote, partnership only beginning. I like that too, Murray. I think that's extremely important because it means we've got a lot more to look forward to. So yeah, the Bad Batch. Can't wait to see what's going to happen. All right. So that's really the main news, honestly. That's the main stuff I really wanted to go over. But the next thing I want to go over is my experiences yesterday. So obviously movie theaters have been pretty much shut down. All the studios have been holding their major content, and we weren't, Black Widow should be already out on home video by now, or home release, or whatever we want to call it. Wonder Woman would have been out. Mulan was the big one. Tenet, the big film from Christopher Nolan, was going to be out. And none of those are out. So a lot of drive-in movie theaters have been showing classic films. Now, there's one that is not exactly close to where I live. It's about an hour and 20 minutes away. It's the Harvest Moon Drive-In Theater in Gibson City, Illinois. Now, it was voted one of the top 10 best drive-in movie theaters in the United States of America. So that's very cool. And my brother actually sent me a message saying, hey, I think they're going to show The Empire Strikes Back. So I started watching that Facebook page all the time. And then I saw it. I reached out to Corey and Tom, and I told my brother. And so we all agreed to meet. We went last night. Here's a couple of pictures that I'm going to share with you because it was just a really, really fun experience. Okay, so there it is. There is Mason and I. We are very, very, of course, aware of what's going on in the world, as of course it just makes sense to do so. And because I want to keep Mason safe and make sure, nothing happened, because the coronavirus is still out there, but we still wanted to have a good time. So the nice thing about a drive-in movie theater is that you are outside, out in the open, and we reserved our spots in the front rows because that's where the screen was right behind us. It was a large screen. I have no idea how big it is, but my goodness, that would be cool to find out. I'm going to find out, and I'll post that somewhere so we can let everybody know. But they had a parking space marked off in between each spot, so you had social distancing with your cars. You were supposed to wear your mask except for when you went over to the concourse, and it was very, very wide open, so we kept our masks on. And Mason got to play with his cousins and his friends, and everybody was socially distanced. Everybody wore their masks, and they had the best time. It really was just wonderful. And getting to see my brother, who I hadn't seen in a while, and getting to see Tom and Corey, from 6 feet apart, and just getting to chat with them was so much fun. And then the movie started. Mason and I were extremely excited. And then, once it starts, the lights go down, and you're just absolutely in heaven. There is us. So we had, I had my, of course, Star Wars cooler all set up. We brought our drinks. We brought our snacks. Mason had his Cubs blanket because I'm a good dad. Hello, Chicago Cubs. And I popped the trunk, and we listened to the movie through the FM antenna. It was just so much fun. I mean, it really was just the best experience. And then when it starts, you've got Star Wars on, and you're literally under the stars watching Star Wars. Tyler almost went on Saturday with his wife. Sadly, some stuff came up, and they weren't able to go. Well, Tyler, good news, buddy. It's playing tonight, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday at the drive-in. So you'll still get a chance to see it if you want to. Now, it is a late night. As I said at the top of the show, Kim says, how come nobody does a story on the bloody Skywalker lightsaber? Huh? It has a tremendous history and tragedy. Well, actually, Kim, I think they're going to. And they've been covering it in the recent Star Wars comic book series done by Charles Soule, where they're talking about what happens immediately after trying to trace Luke's lightsaber. He goes back to Bespin to look forward. It's all canonical. You should check it out. And I'm sure they'll have more stuff later. Jim says, I'm so happy you both had a great time. It sounds like a phenomenal experience. Thank you, Jim. It really was a great time. It was so much fun. Dave says, the wife and I saw ESP on Sunday at our local theater. It was amazing and looked incredible for being 40 years old. I agree. Something that really stood out to me is that it's timeless. And those themes still resonate. It's still powerful and suspenseful. Mary, thank you so much. We did have the best time. It is. Oh, it is. I hope to see it in the near future. Oh, Mito, let us know, because it's incredible to see Star Wars in the movie theater. Is such a great experience anyway. That collective atmosphere of Star Wars is great. And I'm sure everybody saw that The Empire Strikes Back made a comeback, and this weekend it was playing on theaters, drive-ins and some selected theaters. And it was the number one movie at the box office, a 40-year-old movie. So that's great. So here we go. As it's starting to get dark, they play the movie. I took a couple of random pictures because, you have to do that. And then it starts, you're excited. And then they start to get really dark, and now you can see we're full much in darkness. I took a couple of photos just to kind of show you the big stuff, but it was such a treat. I mean, I on the way there, Mason had said he was so excited about this, and that means the world to me, being to experience that with him. And here's something fun. And then we'll move on to our next topic. Something really, really fun about this whole thing was that when I first saw Star Wars, and of course I talked about that recently, it was at a drive-in movie theater in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I was 7 years old. Now, Mason has seen The Empire Strikes Back at home before, but the first time he ever saw Star Wars at a drive-in movie theater, it was The Empire Strikes Back, and he was 7 years old. And I love that. So Mason said, Daddy, since you saw Star Wars at a drive-in at 7, and I saw Empire at a drive-in at 7, maybe my son will see Return of the Jedi when he's 7 at a drive-in. I mean, seriously, does it get any better than that? It doesn't for me. I was just thrilled. Again, being able to pass on this stuff with my family is the best. Or Yoda best. This, by the way, may have said this. Got this for Father's Day. There you go. Good stuff. All right. So Aaron says, who would have guessed that 2020 is the year the drive-in theater made a comeback? Isn't that fun? Ross says, do you have or want the financials from the weekend? Yeah, you can give me the specifics, Ross, for sure. Did you try the pickle-flavored icy? Brian, that's a thing. Ew. I don't like pickles at all, so no, I did not. But I'm going to tell Mason that, and I'm sure he's going to want to order that. That is fascinating. You'll have to tell me how that is, but I will take your word for it because there is no way I'm going to try that. Not a pickles guy. No thanks. All right, let's move into our top 5 for tonight. Top 5 for tonight is top 5 favorite Star Wars costumes. This was very, very hard. Here's the financials. Ross has it for us. After Saturday's exclusive Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back came in much better than the high 400K to 500K anticipated, with 611,000 in 3 days and 644 in 5 days. That's amazing. For a movie that's 40 years old that you can watch anywhere, the fact that it did that well is pretty cool. I love it. Thanks, Ross, for that. I appreciate that so much. Jim, excited for the top 5. I tried to spread my picks out between all eras of Star Wars to keep things interesting. You know what, Jim? And you're hitting this topic did come up because of you, so I'm glad. Looking forward to your list. I'm pretty sure I know what one of them's going to be, but we'll see. I feel like I should apologize. This was hard because I should have said top costumes from the original trilogy, top 5 costumes from the prequel trilogy, and top 5 costumes from the sequel trilogy. But I didn't do that. I should have done that. But I had no idea what I was kind of getting myself into here. So Aaron has given all his at once, which is fine. Hutt Slayer Leia 1 and 2, Palpatine in Episode 9, Snow Scars, and Hutt Slayer Leia. Okay, Aaron, I'm seeing a pattern here, buddy. Eric wanted to go to the drive-in, but the rain was in the forecast. And rain does, of course, keep things back, so that's unfortunate. Very good. All right, let's do this. So my number 5, I tried to spread. I found myself just pretty much hovering primarily in the original trilogy because that's my wheelhouse, although I love all the trilogies for different reasons. But there is one that changed. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Mary says, this was so hard I had to do some groupings. 5, Lando's capes from Solo through Rise of Skywalker. Oh, Mary, that's cool. What a clever idea. Lando's capes are really, really fun. Colby, we'll miss you, man, but of course, we'll save this for you. You can watch it on Facebook anytime or YouTube and Instagram as well. So have a good week, my friend. We'll talk to you soon. Minta's number 5 is Jyn Erso's costume. Not too over the top and functional on any mission. Very good. I like that. Good choice. My number 5 is Leia's costume from Cloud City, and I never would have thought of this one. But when I was watching the film on the big screen last night at the drive-in movie theater, every time she walked out on that thing, I'm like, wow, that's a really striking costume. It's very, very elegant. Her hair looks great. I am by far not a fashion guy. Trust me. I mean, I don't know how many Star Wars t-shirts I have. I'm not a big fashion guy. I like to look nice, of course, but I couldn't tell you anything about fashion. I know what looks nice and what's appealing to me. This costume seems cool because it's got these nice earthy tones. It's very elegant. She's carrying herself with this wonderful posture, and she's obviously royalty, but she's also a woman of action and can take care of things. And I just think it's very, very striking. It matches really well in Cloud City and Bespin, and I think it's really, really charming. So that's why that was my number 5. Gems is Rey's Rise of Skywalker costume. Okay, good. I like it. Tyler's number 5 is Solo / Rise of Skywalker Lando. Love the yellow shirt with the flowy capes. It really fits his status as the smoothest dude in the galaxy. I agree. And Tyler, I think you're making a run for smoothest dude in the galaxy too. So there you go. Aaron says Rey's Rise of Skywalker costume was awesome. I agree with that. Ross's number 5 is Han Solo in Hoth gear. That's a great choice as well. Something I noticed last night. That was almost one of mine. Love that Empire Cloud City. Like, I know, Mary, isn't it cool? Tim says Lando's from the Han movie. Yeah, Lando's coming up a lot, which is really, really cool. I hadn't even thought of that one. See, I really should have did change it up a little bit more. Oh, well, that's okay. We're having fun. So Blake wasn't prepared for this, so here goes. Leia from A New Hope. It's iconic for me because the second you saw it from behind in Rogue One, you knew who it was. That's true. And I had a hard time not getting that one on there, but I don't know. Tyler, there's always time for capes, buddy. Very good. Mason wanted me to tell you that his number 5 is Boba Fett. I actually was close to putting Boba Fett on there. We've said that a lot on Facebook Live. He may not be my favorite character, but that armor is so iconic. But I didn't put it on there as a costume, mostly because I think it would be hard to kind of piece it together like that if you actually had one. I don't know, but it's cool. Aaron, it's anything, buddy. It is anything you want to pick. All right. So my number 4 is Rey from The Last Jedi. She actually has 2 costumes in The Last Jedi. But this one where she confronts Snoke in the throne room and teams up with Kylo Ren very briefly is great because I like the gray in it. She is, no matter what happens in The Rise of Skywalker, up to that point in the story, she's not gray. She's good. She's trying to convert Kylo Ren, who is very much on the dark side of the Force in this movie, although he has moments. But she is gray to symbolize the fact that she's calm. She's conquered the dark side through the cave on Ashto, and she's just dressed and very, very capable. It's kind of got this wonderful sort of a twist on the classic Jedi robes, but it's more functional for combat, I think. And it's just a great look, and her hair looks cool, and I think it's just a great one. They sell this costume at Galaxy's Edge, and I just think it's really, really neat. So Eric's number 5, the Emperor's Royal Guard. Those are great. I mean, those are really iconic. Aaron's real number 5 is Phasma. Very good. Jim's number 4 is Ahsoka's Siege of Mandalore outfit. I love how much the colors and patterns were influenced by Mandalorian culture. Yeah, that was a good one. I should have thought of that. That's a good one. Minta says Hera's costume from Rebels. I love it. Leia's medal ceremony dress in episode 4. That's a good one too. You could really have like top 5 Leia or top 5 Padme costumes, and you'd have a lot to go from. Tyler says Garth Saxon and the Mandalorians. The red and black armor mixed with the horns looks so metal. I wouldn't want to challenge them. That's good. I like that. I love your descriptions, Tyler. That's a really good choice too. Those would be good action figures as well. Eric says the Emperor from Return of the Jedi, simple but effective. Yeah, very good. Forrest Sabine, love the flashy colors. Very good. We're getting a lot of Mandalorian stuff. Tim says Han's costume from the original trilogy. I thought about that one as well. For Saw Gerrera's armor, the silhouette is unmatched as a warrior. Oh, that's an interesting call, too. Blake says Palpatine, the original trilogy's simple robes still make him look so evil. I agree with that. So, as I said, my number 4 is Rey from The Last Jedi. Mason's number 4 is the Stormtrooper, the classic Stormtrooper look. I mean, you know, Stormtroopers, it's unmistakable when you see that armor, what's going on. It's very iconic for Star Wars. It's a great costume. All right, boy, time is really flying tonight. My number 3 is Darth Vader. I almost didn't put this because I talk about Darth Vader all the time. But how could you ignore that costume? I mean, that costume is, you know, the black armor, but it's really more than that. It's his cape. It's got different padding and like the leather and the gloves and the boots. Of course, the mask itself. I mean, it's one of the most recognizable and famous costumes in the history of cinema. How could I not put it on there? You'll notice a lot of mine are sort of from The Empire Strikes Back because it's so fresh in my mind from seeing it last night at the drive-in. But it's great. I mean, it's just a great classic costume. It's hard to beat it. Number 3, Tyler's has, pardon me for drinking this coffee here, Rise of Skywalker, Kylo Ren. I love the pieced together helmet. The red cracks give it such an unhinged look. If it didn't have Vader, I was going to put Kylo Ren because I love his costume. It's great. That's a good call, Tyler. Mary has Kira's Kessel Run outfit with the cape. Very, very good. I like that. Eric says Duchess Satine so elaborate. Wish we could have seen a live action version. Oh, that's cool, Eric. I like that. And who knows? Maybe we will. Minta said Rey's first costume in The Last Jedi. I almost put that one too. I think it was just the sequence with Snoke and everything that drew it there, but it could have been that one as well. Those are great. Jim's number 3 is Padme's Theed battle dress in Phantom Menace. It's simpler than her other outfits, but the materials and colors still make it elegant. Yeah, those are really good. 3, Aaron is Snoke's guards. The Praetorian Guards is who he means. Keeps the ceremonial robes of the Emperor's guards while making it more useful in combat. Oh, very good description. Number 3, more Mando love from Ross, Sabine Wren, of course. Blake has Boba Fett. Just everything about it is so cool. His action figure after 40 years are still the coolest. Yep. And I believe the new post in CWK Cafe, Blake, that you just got that. I think the Black Series one, the 40th anniversary, so that's really cool. Tim's is Padme, very memorable costumes, and very well done. Yeah, very true. Any specific one, Tim, of Padme's, or just in general? I mean, you really can't go wrong either way. Mason, by the way, his number 3 was the Biker Scout, which is a great choice. I will never forget when we first saw the action figures for the Biker Scout, how captivating that was, and how we couldn't wait to see more about these characters. Or, whenever you see newer Stormtrooper designs, it's always a big one. All right, so my number 2 favorite costume in Star Wars is a tie. It's Luke and Han from Hoth in The Empire Strikes Back. When they did the 6 scale of the Kenner line, I believe Gentle Giant put those out of the original Star Wars Kenner action figures. I bought the Snowtrooper, I bought Han, and I bought Luke from Hoth because I just think they're so cool. I spent endless time playing these scenes when I was a kid. I think it's because I grew up in Louisiana and we didn't have snow. So Hoth was extra captivating to me. And then when we moved here, every time in the winter I was Han and Luke on Hoth because you got to crawl in the snow and run, and it was just great. And I just love the look. It's really, really great. And here we got a bunch of stuff coming in, which is wonderful. Ross says, nice, Mason, good call. Thanks, man. I will pass it on to him, and Mason is no doubt watching now, so that's fun. Aaron says, Palpatine's robes in The Rise of Skywalker. He brings back the classic black robe with the red silk trim, just make it pop. Good choice. Jim's number 2 is Cal Kestis, Jedi Fallen Order outfit. I like the design with the vest and accessories, and it's really practical. That's a cool one. It's very, very slick, too. Kind of militaristic and stylish. I don't know. Tyler's number 2 is the ARC Trooper 5s. You can't go wrong with Clone Wars armor. 5s makes it even cooler with that shoulder armor and standout colors. Oh, that's a good choice, Tyler. I like that. Minta, Sabine's costume at the end of the Rebels series. It showed how far she came on her journey. Ooh, that's fun. I hadn't thought about that. Gosh. See how this is like a crazy topic? It's way too broad. I mean, when my students pick a topic for a research paper, tell them I got to narrow it down. I need to think about that for our top 5s. Mary says Ahsoka in Rebels, and the last scene is Ahsoka the Grey. Ooh, nice choice. I've been thinking about that. If I had to pick an Ahsoka, it would be that one or the Mandalorian arc one. Eric says, Queen Amidala's throne room gown, such a beautiful job by Trisha Bigger collecting the material. Yes, very good. Hawthorne is my favorite action figure of all time. I know, isn't it great? I mean, it's really, really tremendous. Tim says, Luke's black outfit in Return of the Jedi. At the moment when I saw the movie, I never knew which side he would fall. Oh, that's cool. Din Djarin with the full Beskar suit. Nothing looks cooler than that, aside from my number 1. Ooh, that's a good tease there, Blake. I like it. Ross says, Amidala's red throne room dress. That's a very, very good choice as well. Mason's number 2, Jango Fett. And I said, are you sure you already have both? And he's like, oh, yeah, because Jango Fett is just such a really, really cool look. In fact, I don't know if I like it better than Boba Fett. I definitely like the character of Jango Fett better. From our standpoint, it's got that striking blue, which we like, especially with the Zare household, because it's kind of got that Cubs blue to it. So, hey, Jango Fett, good choice, Mason, for your number 2. My number 1 as typically is the case with these top fives that we do here and on CWK pour over, my number one is usually the easiest thing for me to come up with, and everything else just kind of falls into place later. But my number one is the Stormtrooper armor. I mean, if I had one option that you can have one Star Wars costume that we will make for you and give to you, what would you pick? And I said Stormtrooper armor. I remember at Celebration Anaheim in 2015, I got to volunteer and help out at the Star Wars show. And they said, hey, if you got a costume, come on. And I said, cool, can I have Stormtrooper armor? And they said, sure, just bring it with you. And I thought, oh, rats, I thought they had costume that I could wear and do and walk around on the set, but they didn't. Still had a great time. You can go back to our old Celebration Anaheim shows on Coffee with Kenobi's podcast feed. By the way, we just released our 350th show. Can you believe that? 350 episodes of Coffee with Kenobi. Thank you so much for joining us along the way. So fun. So, I do, of course, as Brian knows, have the Stormtrooper armor. I got the Novos kit. Still not finished after all this time. Someday, man, someday. Aaron's number one is the Sith Troopers from the Rise of Skywalker. The red armor is so striking, and they were woefully underutilized in the movie. Oh, really? Think so? Interesting. I feel like they were in it quite a bit. More than Rose. Rose should have been in more than the Sith Troopers, but that's just, my opinion. Jim's number one, to no one's surprise, if you're a friend of Jim like I am. Jyn Erso's Jedi outfit. It's my favorite costume of my favorite Star Wars character. It's very utilitarian and versatile for different environments, and the intricate details of the stitching patterns amaze me. It was also the outfit that made me dive into cosplay. And Jim's Jyn Erso, which I saw at Celebration Chicago, was one of the best examples of cosplay you'll ever see. So well done, Jim. I would have been honestly disappointed if you didn't pick that for your number one, because I knew that you would. That's great. Minta's number one is Ahsoka's Rebels outfit. I actually made her costume years back for a cosplay at our local Comic-Con. My only regret, the headpiece was a little too heavy. Oh, I bet that would be challenging. Well, that's cool. And I had a feeling you were going to pick Ahsoka too, because I think she was your Facebook profile picture for a while. If memory serves from our Facebook Live shows. Eric's number one is Luke from Return of the Jedi. Classic, simplistic yet iconic. I love it. All of you are such good writers. I love how you explain things. So cool. Tyler says Luke Skywalker in crate. Oh, nice. I love the dark blue robes. It's a perfect look for a Jedi Master, one of the only vintage figures I own, and he's awesome. You know what? I love that. And I wish they made one on the Last Jedi card of that one as well. Mary's number one. Padme's metal dress, lake dress, Attack of the Clones, white battlesuit, plus all the gorgeous classic gowns. Oh, good. Hey, ties are allowed. We like that. Blake's number one is Vader. He gave us a little tease earlier, and he about it was the favorite one, and it's Vader. His suit has awed audiences for over 4 decades. The story behind it and the menacing look doesn't outdo anything in my book. I can't argue with that. Tim says Vader's from the original trilogy. Seeing him was the epitome of evil, then being redeemed, at least to me, at the end. Very good. Ross says, I remember how blown away I was in the theater when I saw my number one, Lando in skiff guard disguise, and then fantastic to see it in Solo, a Star Wars story. Oh, nice. Yeah, that was, and I was kind of like thrown that Beckett was wearing that, but who knows really the story reason why they did that, but it definitely came back, and it was a very fun one to see in Return of the Jedi. Jim, my pleasure, buddy. Your cosplay is great. You're going to wear a D23 next year. Well, hopefully we'll get to say hello and hang out at D23, and that's super cool. Yeah, Jim, again, be sure to look up Jim's pictures. Hopefully you can post some in CWK Cafe. That will be really, really fun. So coffee does not lubricate the voice as well as water does. I need to remember that for next week. So that's interesting. Okay. Tyler's honorable mentions. Anakin's from Revenge of the Sith. 2003 Clone Commander Obi-Wan, and Bespin Han Solo. Bespin Han Solo is great. Jeff McGee's favorite action figures, Bespin Han Solo. Mason's number one, by the way, is Anakin from Revenge of the Sith. Again, how could you possibly argue with that? That's a great one. Such a great iconic look. So fun. All right, well, this was great, everybody. So next week, for our top 5, we're going to do top 5 character thing again. It's going to be top 5 favorite obscure Jedi Knights. Top 5 favorite obscure Jedi Knights. So what that means, and we had a good debate at our house about this, but Anakin, Luke, Rey, Qui-Gon, Yoda, Obi-Wan, they're not obscure. I don't think Ahsoka's obscure either. So obscure are like background characters. They're never going to be featured in a movie. Most likely wouldn't be featured in a book, but they might be a featured background character or something like that. So top 5 favorite obscure Jedi Knights. To me, that means Jedis on the Jedi Council, Jedi that we met in the Clone Wars series, Jedi that, again, were never featured like in like a major animated series or one of the movies, but they're a fun aspect of the saga. So again, your top 5 favorite obscure Jedi Knights. These are going to be some deep cuts. So I'm looking at you, Ross. I know you're good at the deep cuts for Star Wars. I've certainly got a few. I've got one really deep cut from Clone Wars that I'm going to put on here that I'm going to be interested to see if people know who this is. But again, next week, top 5 favorite obscure Jedi. So here they come. All right. So the whole Mos Eisley Cantina, I'm ready. Yeah, if there are any Jedi in the Mos Eisley Cantina, I don't know about that. Good luck. All right, very good. So next we've got our CWK book study. Today is chapter 8. Honestly, I'm not going to go through a lot of... Oh, wait, let's get some questions here. One's from Legends. Of course, Minta. Anybody from Legends that you want to talk about or feature? That would be wonderful, actually. The more names from all over, the better. So that would be awesome if you can find one. Yes. Blake, nice try, dude. I don't know about that. My brother and I refer to them as Kmart Jedi. Well, that works too. Interesting. So chapter 8, a small chapter in the Rise of Skywalker novelization from Ray Carson. And there's really not... There's a couple of interesting moments, but it's not really huge character stuff for sure. Aaron, good to see you, buddy. Go play some video games, and we're here every Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time if you want to join us. Always happy to chat with you, buddy. The couple of big things in Chapter 8 was, one, Rey's grief over Chewie, because this is that part where she thinks because of her lightning that ship that Chewbacca in blew up, and everybody thought that too, the way it was shown in the movie, or the way it's presented in the novel. Of course, he isn't, as you find out later in this chapter. Talks about Sarah, she's sort of unconsolable, but they always kind of try to, find calm and find peace and fight. She's ready to give up, but then she has to stop. In her mind, she says, I need to stop being so self-focused and think about the fact that we're trying to save the galaxy here. I'm trying to keep the resistance afloat, and I need to do this for Chewbacca because this is what he would want. And then she shares her Force vision with Finn about seeing herself on the Sith throne alongside Kylo Ren. And then it stops because they don't get a chance to talk. Poe interrupts, and they're talking about where they're trying to go. Of course, they're going to end up going to Kijimi. But so there really isn't any kind of closure on that conversation. It will come up later in the book, presumably. So it is cool. There's this thing that you see, whatever you see in literature, especially children's literature, but literature like this too, where the kids keep a secret from their friends or from adults because they're not sure how the other person's going to handle it. That's a very, very common motif in literature, especially young adult literature. And that's not a pejorative, by the way. I think young adult literature is sometimes some of the best writing you will ever find and some of the best stories you will ever find. But that's just a different category, so that's what we're going to call it. And why do you think that is? Why is it? I mean, think about the Harry Potter books. In every single Harry Potter book, Harry keeps all these major secrets, keeps it from all the adults. And then ultimately, at the end, because he keeps the secrets, things escalate maybe worse than they would have. That's sort of arguable to say. And even though it happens in all 7 books, he keeps these secrets and then eventually reveals them, and then things happen. That's a common motif in children's literature, in literature in general. Why do you think that is? Why is that an effective tool in storytelling? For someone to have information and to keep it because they're worried about how it's going to be perceived. Minta says, Poe is actually nice to Rey in the beginning of the chapter, which was a big difference in the film. Yeah, I noticed that too. And in fact, Rey even comments on that. She keeps expecting them to be angry, and she's just going to roll it, but they don't. And they address that Poe is just sort of trying to figure things out from the Battle of Crait at The Last Jedi. So yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, Minta. Murray says, I think the three main characters are starting to empathize with one another's situations. I think so too. They're realizing they've all got a lot they're fighting for, and they've all got a lot to lose, and mostly it relies to each other. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Again, I still, and you may have listened to show number 350 of Coffee with Kenobi, which dropped last Thursday. But I talk about the fact that Finn didn't really get much of an arc in this story, in this movie. And so I'm hoping that we'll sort of flesh out as we're going along, too. We'll see. Tyler says it builds up tension from the audience. Breaking Bad as a masterclass. That's true. It does build up tension. And I think it also is sort of a thing, especially in young adult literature, for sometimes the kids are presenting as knowing more than the adults. And sometimes that is true. And in my opinion, that is also because kids are more open-minded to different possibilities. Whereas adults, as we get older, and it happens to all of us, we get more set in your ways and think of things very myopically. So that could be part of it as well. So I think an underlying theme in all this is to keep your mind and your heart and your thoughts open to other possibilities. And it is okay, because the kids always get burned from keeping the secrets, but they always think it's in their best interest to do so. It's important to share when you have important information. So it was nice to see Ray share that stuff with Finn. Then we get a brief interlude with Hux and talking with Pride and sort of withholding information, how he does that strategically all the time to see how people react, so he knows kind of what he has to play with. He's always playing chess with other people in the First Order. And he shares, by the way, we've got Chewbacca, who flew with Han Solo. And then we get this reunion with Zori Bliss and her background with Poe. And then we find out that Poe is a spy, used to be a spice runner, and that's why he knows how to do certain things that he does. And Finn is like, what? And Rey is like, what? And then he throws in their face, well, weren't you a stormtrooper? Weren't you a scavenger? I don't think, the scavenger is not the same. Stormtrooper, yeah, of course, that's a different thing. Poe's forgetting different stuff because he's being defensive. This personally is a side of Poe that does not work for me. I don't follow the trajectory of this character arc here, how he sort of veers, but that does happen. Sometimes as characters move along, we do find out more about their past. And my belief is always, does this help push the story forward? Does this help us advance the character? Or are we just throwing some new information in there to try to add a little bit of more dimension and range to a character? And sometimes that works, and sometimes that doesn't. For me, this aspect of Poe doesn't work, but I'm not finished with the young adult novel that came out. I know Ross did a great review of it, so maybe after I read that I'll have a different opinion, so we'll see. But I'm curious to see what you all think about that, or how that kind of affects or impacts you. Okay, so next week we're going to have Chapter 9 of The Rise of Skywalker. We're well over halfway done with the novel, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we've still got about 10 chapters left, so we're going to be working on this for a couple more months. But again, I want to go through this more quickly as we go along, because I like this more when we're all chatting together instead of just me talking as well. Finn would not let up on the nicknames for Poe, that is for sure. No doubt about that, Minta. Mary says, I enjoyed the banter between the three of them on Kijimi. That was fun. Playful and very, very quick and snappy. Reminiscent of Luke, Leia, and Han on the Death Star in A New Hope, now that I think about it. So thank you for pointing that out. All right, let's move on to the end of Facebook Live. We're getting close here. If you have any questions you want to ask me about, the news from this week, different plans for Coffee with Kenobi, the podcast, or any tips about, or any questions about podcasts, have we covered this in any older shows or things like that? That's always fun too. Again, the Bad Batch is huge news. I am interested to see how much Dave Filoni will be a part of it. We will see for sure. Mary says, I like to see the origin story with Poe and Zori. And I think it's in... Here it is. So this is the new book that's coming out pretty soon, Mary. Poe Dameron Freefall. I've had a PDF for a while, but I just got a hard copy of it in the mail today. And it gives you a lot of background about them. And it's a young adult novel, so I encourage you to check it out for sure. Blake's question, what is the oldest action figure you own? The oldest action figure I own, Blake, is C-3PO. It is the first action figure that I ever bought. I actually talk about it on an older podcast. I can't remember which one. But I brought it with me to the premiere of Solo, because it was the first Star Wars premiere I'd been to, and I carried it in my pocket And I just thought it was a great sort of reminder and a memento of as a kid loving this, then growing up, and then just having life take me the path it has taken me, and then getting to be at the premiere. And that's the night I got to meet George Lucas with that original first action figure I ever owned in my pocket. So thanks, Blake. That's a great question. Tyler says, really enjoying your top 15 movie countdown on Pour Over every Sunday. I wake up, put on my headphones, and listen before I get to bed. Oh, that's cool, man. I love it. There's so much fun to do. Our top 5 is really going to be fun for you. Recorded that one recently. And, of course, that's what Tyler's talking about is CWK Pour Over, which is our Patreon show for $5 a month. You get 4 exclusive podcasts that come out every Sunday. It's me, Tom, and Corey, and we have the best time doing it. And for $10 a month, I actually get to see the video of the podcast, and that's really fun too. Where do you get your One Nation Coffee? Thinking of changing up a bit. Oh, cool. Well, it's actually onenationcoffee.com. It's their actual website, Minta, so be sure to check it out. They're a long-time sponsor of the show. They're wonderful guys, but highly recommend you go to One Nation Coffee. And please let them know that Dan Z and Coffee with Kenobi sent you. That would be awesome. All right, good. Let me know what you think about it. Can we celebrate Mr. Club? Of course we can. And I'm assuming you're talking about the fact that Corey is moving. Is that what you're talking about? Corey announced on Facebook yesterday. He told me quite a bit ago, and I appreciate that he did, but he and his family are moving. That's not going to change celebrations and Pour Over and Coffee with Kenobi, but he's going to be much farther away than the 5 minutes from my house that he is now, so we'll definitely miss him. But he's definitely an awesome guy and one of my favorite people in the galaxy, so he's going to be missed here in Illinois, but he's not going to be moving until March, so there's still time. Jim, I also really enjoyed Pour Over on Sunday. It's great to hear what everyone's tastes are outside of Star Wars. I know, and that's kind of an important part about that, too. Can we ever see a CWK live call-in show for a podcast? You know what, Blake? I would love to do that. Is that something that people would be interested in, a Coffee with Kenobi live show? I think I can probably figure out how to set it up so we can do it here on Facebook Live as well. I need to do a little bit of investigating on that if anybody has ideas. Yeah, that would be fun. I'm always looking at ways to expand the brand, and expand ways to get feedback from each and every one of you, because that's really what it's all about. Speaking of what it's all about, I am so excited. It's really not a transition at all, but I got to throw it in there. October 20th is my first book comes out, written by myself, Pablo Hidalgo, and Cole Horton. We've got some really great stuff planned to talk about this book and share with each and every one of you. I had so much fun writing it. Again, all I can really say is to be sure and look at what we have as far as what the book's about on Amazon. There's a nice description. Read that. It's going to really show you. Basically, it's a bunch of really hardcore essays. You're going to learn a lot about Star Wars through it. I learned a lot writing it. I know you're going to learn a lot about it when you get to read it. I can't wait to talk about each and every one of you. Thank you again, everybody, for joining me on Coffee with Kenobi every Monday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Of course, you can listen to the podcast, Coffee with Kenobi. Again, we just released our 350th episode. Had a great time. We've got a major guest coming up very, very soon that I'm looking forward to sharing and chatting with, and you're really going to love the conversation. I know I enjoy. Gosh, I don't want to give away too much, but it's really, really fun. And if you like Coffee with Kenobi, please let people know on Twitter that you are listening to the show. Tweet it out. Like us on the page on Facebook. Join our Facebook group, CWK Cafe, where we can talk about the latest Star Wars news and have the best time there. Instagram. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's so many ways you can enjoy and help out Coffee with Kenobi. And of course, if you're really interested in helping out the show, you can go to our Patreon page as well. Looking forward to the book. I think the lightsaber book comes out the same day. Oh, wow, that's going to be a great day for books. Brian says any local people in the area and the bad guys doing good Star Wars characters will be collecting for St. Jude this coming Saturday from 9 to noon. Oh, thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. Definitely want to spread the word on that. Jeff, you are welcome. Good night, Mary. Thanks so much. Have a great week to you as well. Jim, have a great week, buddy. May the Force be with you, Minta. Ross, glad you're able to make it to the drive-in. Thanks for making us aware. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks, dude, so much. And thank you, everybody. It's such a pleasure and a joy to spend each Monday night with all of you. I love it so much. Thank you again for your hard work and spreading the positivity of the Star Wars community. Doesn't happen without each of you. Until next Monday, read Chapter 9 of the Rise of Skywalker so we can talk about that on the show. Get your top 5 favorite obscure Jedi ready so we can talk about that. That's going to be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to making that list. Blake says, thanks, Dan. Good time as always. I'm waiting for the call-in show. Good, man. I can't wait. We'll have to have you on the show sometime as well. Tyler says, I'll be winning next Monday, so long goodbye. This is indeed the way. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great